there's a lot of nice plants that can be used for shade gardens. And Liz, you've talked about the fact that, there's a lot of different textures that can be used.
Right.
So why don't we just throw out and talk about these ones that are behind you here?
Sure. There's a lot of different textures you can play with, and we have 3 ornamental grasses here that have a thin blade. We've got the Hackanachoa that's got kind of a golden color to it, and these are 2 different types of carex, which grow real small and stay pretty neat.
And typically, a lot of the ornamental grasses like sun, but these particular varieties do very well in the shade.
Right. And it becomes a nice contrast when you put it next to something like a hosta that's got a bigger, broader leaf. And you can put it with kind of the coral bells if you want a little pop of color. These all have a bigger leaf shape that has a little bit more substantial look to it.
And typically, a lot of times with shade, because of the lack of light, you see a lot of plants adapted to shade have very large leaves. That's one of the reasons the hostas are adapted well. Even the Brunera, this is a very small Brunera, but they can get quite big to absorb all that light. But it's nice to see the finer textures that'll work too.
Yeah, and just to throw in another color and another leaf shape, we've got a painted fern here, kind of more of a triangular leaf, but has that kind of ferny texture. And then over by Jim, you've got an astilbe.
Yeah, the astilbe's nice because that's shade tolerant, actually can tolerate a fair amount of sun if it has good moisture, but you also get some flowers out of that too.
Right. And the best thing about everything is here is pretty deer resistant too, except for the hosta.
The hostas, and I've seen the deer eat the heuchera a little bit, but not all the time. But the ferns and the grasses and all, very deer resistant, which is really nice.
Right. So a shade garden doesn't have to be boring and just plain green. It can have a lot of different textures and colors to it. So if you're interested in getting a design or having a shade garden installed, give us a call. Thank you for joining us. I'm Liz Snyder.
And I'm Jim Hotelling, the home gardeners from Hillside Garden Landscaping.